All right, so here's another thing that I'm going to do. And this is sort of in the very first assignment, I don't always do this, but it's a good thing for me to understand. So I'm going to actually soft proof any color before I actually will go to print. So I'm going to do a little soft proofing demo here while I'm in Lightroom, and then we'll talk about doing our final print file here in just a moment. So I'm clicking on this Photoshop file because it's the most recent one I did, this edit right here. So I'm in my edits collection still, and I'm going to click over and develop. All right, so I've got you highlighted. I'm going to click over and develop. So here is the file, and what I'll go ahead and do is I'm going to make a soft proof. So down here below I can check the box next to soft proofing, and then what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to create a proof copy, and this is going to give me a new virtual copy. So that has been done. That's getting me started here with the soft proof. And I'm going to go ahead and make this happen so that you can actually see my different soft proofs. So right now the profile is Adobe RGB 1998. I'm actually going to change this, and I'm going to pick whatever printer profile. So at school in the 570 building, you're typically going to see that it's going to be a Canon Pro 1000 or a Canon with a 5100, whatever it is that you typically print to, and then the paper type Arista 2. I'm at home and I'm using my home printer with my home paper. So I'm going to click on this profile here, and it's going to change it accordingly. And you might not think this is a big deal, but if you do the before and after comparison, so I'm going to do the Y. On the right is my proof preview, and on the left is how it normally looks. So I can see how much it's changed. Now, if you really start to look at it, you'll see that there's a little bit of a warmth on the left, and it's a little bit more neutral on the right. So if I needed to, I can use the same editing tools to kind of match it. So my goal really is to make the right match the left. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of play with that idea. So I'm going to see if I can adjust it to warm it up just ever so slightly, and try to make it as close as possible. I'm also looking to see if the highlights and shadows look about the same. Like, in other words, if I see detail and highlights here, do I see detail and highlights here? So far my highlight detail looks pretty good. And also I'm looking at my shadow detail. So like over here, the shadows are a little darker, it looks like, if I'm really analyzing. Yeah, it's pretty much the same. I'm just double checking. I feel like the dark's a little richer on the left than on the right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to probably contrast is the best place for me to do this. So I'm going to go over to where I'm looking at my curve, and I'm going to put a dot in the center. I'll put a dot in the top. I'll put a dot, and I'm just bringing down my shadow, and I'm just trying to see if it looks more accurate, because that's my goal. I want it to be accurate. Maybe what I wanted to do is move the little part here. So I'm moving this over just a little bit. Find a sweet spot. Once I know that the soft proof looks good, so there's a rendering intent, perceptual relative. I'm just trying to see if one looks better than the other one. Usually it's going to be relative, but you can check and see if one looks more accurate than the other one. I feel like relative is a little bit more accurate, and I'm simulating the paper and ink so that you can see the brightness. Without it, it looks crazy. But so this simulates how bright the paper is. So that's probably a more accurate way to go. So if you can see before, after. So I've got this over here, and that's my soft proof.